This week in Jamaica Now, Unruly entertainer Popcaan fined $6,000 for behaving badly at his stage show. A 14-year-old boy was killed by the police. Why? Too late, head of the National Water Commission and his wife escaped criminal charges over alleged breaches of a government permit. And could a new president of the Jamaica Football Federation be elected this weekend? I'm Jovan Johnson and this is Jamaica Now. Dancehall artiste Andre Popcaan Sutherland declined an opportunity to apologize to the police for his behavior at Unruly Fest when he appeared in the St. Thomas Parish Court this week. The entertainer, who is a native of the parish, pleaded guilty to using indecent language, disorderly conduct, using abusive and calumnious language, and issuing a threat to police officers. After the pleas, presiding judge Sanchia Burrell asked Popcaan if he had anything to say to the police. The artist said he had nothing to say. Popcaan was fined $1,500 or 10 days imprisonment on each count. The entertainer will have to return to court on February 9 when the prosecution will decide how to proceed in relation to the breaches of the Noise Abatement Act. The permit for the event was not granted in Popcaan's name. A 14-year-old boy was shot and killed by the police in his yard at 100 Lane on Red Hills Road, St. Andrew on January 10, sparking outrage from residents. The child has been identified as Rasheem Wilson, who was a student at Pembroke Hall High School. The police say the teen was shot in a shootout with the cops. However, his grandmother and residents have denied that the boy engaged the police in a firefight and accused the cops of killing the teen in cold blood. According to his grandmother, the teen was engrossed in playing video games when he was shot by the police. She and other residents are demanding justice. The Independent Commission of Investigations is investigating the matter.
There is no justice in this place. When the other man them come and shoot at the place, them don't got the other man right here, so them come. Yeah? Little boy just turned 14, me gone. Police kill him father and come back. Come kill him. See my mother here. Me don't know where mother takes sick. A grandson. Him and them start want to tell lie on the little boy. You understand? Game him a play upon him phone. Always a play game upon him phone. Me a go a TV, me a go income, me a go human rights. Because there's no justice. There is no justice in this place.
President of the state-owned National Water Commission, Mark Barnett, and his wife Annette appear to have escaped criminal prosecution over alleged breaches of an environmental permit for their St. Andrew development project. In a January 10 ruling, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions noted that allegations of irregularities made against the Barnetts support the laying of criminal charges. But it said the passage of time has made the case statute barred, which means the time frame stipulated in law for it to be placed before the court has expired. Under the Natural Resources Conservation Authority Act, prosecution of offences must be initiated in court within 12 months of being known to the authority. An October 2023 investigation report by the Integrity Commission revealed that an official of the National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA was aware of the alleged breaches from November 2020. NEPA is the administrative arm of the Natural Resources Conservation Authority. The Integrity Commission's investigation confirmed that NEPA issued planning and environmental permits to the Barnetts for the construction of 2 3-story blocks consisting of 12 one-bedroom units. However, the completed development at 11 Charlemont Drive in St. Andrew consists of 6 2-bedroom units and 6 3-bedroom units. The DPP's office directed that the case against Mr. Barnett and his wife Annette be referred to the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation to conduct an administrative review in accordance with the provisions of the Building Act. Mr. Barnett was placed on administrative leave on October 13 last year. The police are defending their response to a daring early morning robbery at the entrance to Jamaica House on January 10. 2 men, including the son of a prominent businessman, were shot and injured. The office of the Prime Minister is based at Jamaica House. The 2 men were robbed of cash and jewellery about 3:01 a.m. on Wednesday when they stopped at the Hope Road entrance to change a flat tire on the high-end vehicle in which they were travelling. They were treated at hospital and released hours later. But there have been concerns about the state of security in the area given its significance, in addition to whether there was sufficient response from the police. The police say investigators are rigorously pursuing all leads to identify the perpetrator. The police said the robbery was interrupted about 3:02 a.m. following the response by cops assigned to the security post at Jamaica House, who responded to explosions they reportedly heard. The Culture Ministry has not released the names of over 200 contractors used in the Grand Gala celebrations for Jamaica 60, a national event that cost taxpayers $404 million in 2022. The Grand Gala accounted for 31% of that figure. Opposition spokesperson on culture Dr. Deborah Hicklin-Gordon has called on the Culture Ministry to increase transparency in public procurement for activities staged by its agencies. She says except for justifiable cases of extreme sensitivity, a schedule of purveyors, she insists, should be provided for publicly staged events. And she added that the ministry should release the name of the contractors. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahou-Fort has questioned the Integrity Commission's decision to single out parliamentarians under probe for illicit enrichment in its annual report, arguing that the move is unfair and inconsistent. She raised concerns based on the anti-corruption body's annual report for 2022, which indicated that 28 public officials and 6 lawmakers are under probe. Meanwhile, there are concerns that a gap in the Integrity Commission's law may have resulted in parliamentarians and public officials unknowingly and unofficially being investigated for possible illicit enrichment through the verification process of their income and assets through what's known as statutory declarations. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck raised the issue while claiming that the Commission at times overreaches in requesting information he believes is private. Mrs. Malahou-Fort says she has not seen any provision in the law relating to converting a request for information into an investigation.
Chairman, this really may be where the problem is, the gap in the law and the approach taken, because the natural justice elements would not be satisfied. It's almost as if it could have the appearance of not a sting operation. There is a term that escapes me in the moment. Entrapment. Yes, yes. But you see, the processes and the approach taken must itself have integrity. Must themselves have integrity. And so, if it is that the request for further information is being done under the guise of an investigation, and the declarant is not informed of it, then something would be wrong in that process. And I think in our review of the law, and having regard to concerns that have been raised by declarants, not only within the parliamentary group, but others, I believe that is an area that needs to be addressed.
The matter was discussed on Tuesday during a meeting of the Joint Select Committee of Parliament reviewing the Integrity Commission Act. Meanwhile, in a statement on January 12, the Integrity Commission rejected some of the assertions. It said that there is absolutely no overreach in its operations. It also says that the Integrity Commission Act explicitly grants the Director of Information and Complaints the authority to make inquiries of persons who are required to make statutory declarations. Jamaica Labour Party Councillor for the Mocho Division in Clarendon, Romaine Morris, on Thursday crossed the floor of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation to join the opposition People's National Party. Mr. Morris said he was switching political allegiance based on his personal conviction and realignment of values and views.
Mr. Chairman, I have a letter here for the CU. Dear Mr. Blake, I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing you to inform the Clarendon Municipal Corporation of my decision to switch political allegiance for the Jamaica Labour Party to the People's National Party with immediate effect. This change is based on my personal conviction and a realignment of values and views. I'm committed to ensure a smooth transition, and appreciate your understanding in this matter. 100%. Thank you.
MP for Clarendon North Central, in which the division falls, Robert Morgan, said he was not surprised by the action and accused Mr. Morris of poor leadership. Mr. Morris has hit back, claiming that Mr. Morgan behaved like a dictator who was out to get him years ago. The Jamaica Football Federation JFF presidential election, which was scheduled for Sunday, will not take place. Supreme Court Judge Andrea Thomas on Friday granted an injunction to Beach Soccer Jamaica barring the holding of the election. The injunction will remain in effect until February 9, when the case will be heard again. President of Beach Soccer Jamaica, Patricia Garrell, had filed an application in the Supreme Court seeking an order to compel the JFF to allow beach soccer to participate in the upcoming election of officers as the entity representing beach football in Jamaica. President Michael Ricketts is being challenged by Vice President Raymond Anderson. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner, and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on your notification, and subscribe today. I'm Jovan Johnson, and before we go, scores of mourners gathered on Friday at the St. Andrew Parish Church in Halfway Tree for the funeral of Melissa Silvera. Miss Silvera, who was the wife of former People's National Party Member of Parliament Jolyon Silvera, died on November 10. Initial reports were that she died in her sleep. However, the police have since opened a murder investigation into her death. Let's take in these scenes from the funeral.